big thank you to Desert Financial Credit Union for sponsoring the KRIM Community Spotlight program. Good morning, Rim Country. Chris Higgins in the studio, and hope you're having a beautiful, beautiful Monday. It is a gorgeous day out there, and looks like we'll have some nice, really nice weather this week. So hopefully you guys can get out and enjoy that. Today on our program, we're going to be talking about the Veterans Heritage Project. And in the studio with me is the teacher advisor, Nickey Page, also the president of the Payson chapter, Angelica McFarland, and the vice president, Zane Ansel. Good morning to all of you.
Good morning.
Hey.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, you are so welcome. And I do have to say, it was quite serendipitous how this all happened, because I was speaking out at Career Day out at the high school. And the night prior, I saw a post by your chapter on Facebook asking for volunteers and participation and help with the program, this Veterans Heritage Project. And lo and behold, as I was getting ready to speak, right in front of me was Zane with his Veterans Heritage Project shirt on, but also with a tie that day. So you were looking, very dapper with the tie, the shirt, and then also there were a couple others wearing the shirt as well. Mm-hmm. So I noticed that, showed them the screen capture I had taken, so it wasn't like I was really weird, like, hey, I was just looking at this last night. Here's really the proof. I was. And you presented a little bit, told the students a little bit about the organization, and really wanted to get you guys on the air because there's so many veterans in our community that this is wonderful to have the Veterans Heritage Project, a chapter now here in Payson. So that is great. So how did it come about, Nickey?
So as far as here in Payson,
Yes.
I began it just this year. This is my second year teaching at Payson High School, and there was another teacher who was looking into it prior, who kind of told me about it, and I was raised in Fort Hood, Texas. My dad did 24 years in the military.
Gotcha.
So it was really important to me that the kids have a connection here, not only with the veterans that surround us, but also with the military world and what it's like to actually serve for our country. So I put in the paperwork, reached out to them, and we got it started this year.
And I guess if one of you guys, either Angelica or Zane, would just like to give a short description of what Veterans Heritage Project is.
In my mind, to put it simply, I think that the Veterans Heritage Project is a nonprofit organization based on getting as many stories about veterans out as possible. And so, I don't know, I feel like it's very centered around connecting the younger generation, so us, with the veterans that served for the United States.
Wow, and now this can be, I would imagine you have veterans from different wars or conflicts, different World War II, Korean. Have Korean veterans?
So this year we haven't interviewed very many. We only had 3 veterans because we were just starting out. But we have spoken to, through the activities that we've done in the community, people from almost everywhere you can think of. We spoke to someone on Veterans Day in Tonto Basin, actually, who had been on the beach at Normandy.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's a really cool experience to get to meet people from all different kinds of walks of life who have experienced everything through history that you can think of.
So this organization, Veterans Heritage Project, I guess the goal is to, as you said, Angelica, connect or have students or younger people interviewing or reaching out to veterans to hear their stories. And then what happens with those stories? What are done with those?
So we have a book here today where all the stories are written down and put in. And how it works is that this book and the recording of the interview that you have with your veteran gets documented in the Library of Congress. And it's kind of in my opinion, a very jarring experience because, you can't every day say, hey, oh, I'm in the Library of Congress. So it's very interesting and very, I would say, down to earth way that veteran stories get put into the world.
Mhm.
So-
Is it okay to hold this
Yeah,
here? And
absolutely.
if you're watching on the KRIM FM Facebook page or our YouTube channel, you can see the book right here. Wow, Since You Asked, right here. Veterans share their memories. This is the Arizona edition. So these are all veterans that are living in Arizona
Yes.
and their stories in this book.
Yes, so the Veterans Heritage Project as a nonprofit organization spreads across Arizona, and we have one chapter in Florida because an Arizona teacher moved to Florida. So
wow.
they just started this year as well. But
Yeah.
yeah, and that's our 2020 edition. The 2021 edition is the one that Angelica will be published in.
Okay.
It's our 18th edition that the Veterans Heritage Project has ever done. And interestingly enough, we have 118 veterans that have been interviewed in it this year.
Wow.
So 118 for the 18th.
Oh, yeah. Hey, there you go. So, wow, it's something. That is so cool. And it's really, I think, great that this is done by young people. That young people are involved in the ones that would be interviewing and hearing the stories and being connected to veterans through their stories. So, Zane, when did you get involved in this program?
Well, I got involved as soon as Mrs. Page asked me to.
Hey, there we go.
Exactly.
That's,
I wanted to be part of something bigger than myself, and at that time it was my calling. It was my purpose, is to be a part of something bigger than I am, something that I can do that's extracurricular, that I can do for the community and for myself.
that is awesome.
And of course for Mrs. Page.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, hey, look at, I know. Just Mrs. Page asks, and it happens. I like it.
Only because I ask the best of the best.
Hey.
I have the best kids. I just have to say I do the paperwork side of it, sure. I started it with everything, but the kids are the ones who really took it off the ground and ran with it and made it as impactful as it has become.
As it has become. So this is, there's a Payson chapter, so that's what you started, and you're the teacher advisor for the Payson chapter, and Angelica's the president, Zane vice president, you have other board members as well. Okay, and who are they? Who else are the board members that are involved?
We have Kiara Battaglia, she's our secretary,
Okay.
yes.
And then
Tally Crossman is our treasurer. I
Okay.
mean, we've got every
Nice.
position you
Yeah.
can think of officers. So, and the kids decided on who would do that and who would be best suited based on like their interests and what they're good at and stuff, and placed everyone into these positions that would really allow them to shine and provide for the club.
Oh, that is great. And now, if there's anyone listening that would like to contribute, be a part of it through donations, sponsorships, volunteering as well. I imagine you could have volunteers or people helping.
Yes, absolutely.
And what would a volunteer, what would they do? Kind of some of the different things.
So, as of right now, we are trying to plan an event for the community just to kind of introduce ourselves to everyone and let them know who we are.
Okay.
So, volunteers in that case could do things like help us run games or take tickets, anything like that, if we can get this off the ground.
Gotcha. So a community event, looking at a community event, okay. And then obviously, excuse me, veterans. If there are veterans that would like to share their stories, is the best thing for them to email you?
Yes, they can email me, or they can also go to veteransheritage.org.
Okay.
And there's actually a form on that website where they
Okay.
can fill out and be added to the list.
Uh-huh.
And then at the end of the week or whenever it starts to get some names on it, the nonprofit will actually send me the list of everybody
Okay.
so that I can keep that in a file all together.
Gotcha. So the website again is veteransheritage.org, and that's where you would go to sign out, fill out the form, and then you would get that, so that way you could contact those individuals.
Yes.
All right. Wow. I think there are so many veterans in the community that once this gets out there, I think you probably would have a lot of people that would want to do this and have their stories or their story documented in this book again that gets put into the Library of Congress. That is really cool. It's an historical document.
Yes.
So,
And it's super cool because I mean, the kids know, I've told them we have over 7,000 veterans here on the rim. So we want to try to reach as many as we possibly can, especially because Payson is a really small town. So being able to preserve and record the history of the people who live here in Payson is just, I mean, it's an honor for us to be able to do. So.
No, it is really great. And Zane shared, what it meant to him, and the impact or how big it was. How about you, Angelica?
So this year was actually my first year about hearing about Veterans Heritage Project as well, and for me, I really like kind of immersing myself in history and really being like up to date, with like learning about the past and also learning about the impact that has on our future. And I feel like veterans have a lot of untold stories, and a lot of them might, not want to share, or they don't feel like they have a way to share. And so I think that this is a really good way to get their stories told, and that's kind of what drew me into the Veterans Heritage Project.
Wow. Yeah, it is true. There's, you think about, 7,000 veterans here in Rim Country, and all the experiences of those 7,000 veterans. Phew.
So much history.
Yeah, certainly is. So you mentioned, wanting to do or looking at an event that you could do, a community event to kind of get the group out there. Are there other things that you're looking at or kind of have in the works or looking at doing?
Well, our main thing that we focus on, of course, is the publication of the book. Students have to raise enough for their submissions.
Okay.
So we work on that year round because it's $200 per story.
Oh, okay.
And then, of course, we're looking into community events. We've also done things like the parade in Tonto Basin for Veterans Day. So
Nice.
may have seen these red shirts before.
No, and it was the first time. It was the first time I saw them, and it was crazy because the previous night, just kind of going through, and I'm always scanning Facebook to see what I can post on the KRIM page and kind of looking for things, and I saw that and your post and what you wrote. I'm like, oh my gosh, you've got to get these guys on our community spotlight. We need to learn more about this and try and help out or see what we can do to get you to get more stories, so we can get more stories. And then I saw the shirts. I'm like, you're kidding me. What? right here in front of me. I wasn't expecting it because, again, just talking to the students about career and what they're planning on doing afterwards, and then saw the shirt and I'm like, hey, I want to talk to you guys. So and they were Zane and the other students that were there. Were you?
No, I was actually at a track meet that day. So
that's right, because because that's when I asked for someone to speak, and they all said, well, the president isn't here, so you're the vice president, Zane, so you got to speak. And he's like, okay. And he did great. Hey, you'll never forget that, right?
No, I will not forget that in any hurry, and especially this, being able to talk publicly is definitely something a lot more nerve-wracking than I initially thought it was.
But it's not bad, right? I mean, it's just, sharing, especially when it's something that you're passionate about.
Oh, absolutely.
And obviously, I mean, you are passionate about this. You are making a difference. That's why you joined, to make a difference, to have an impact. And that's what you're doing. So that's so cool. And to share that with people, to let people know, to get other people involved. I mean, it is great. So you're doing great.
Yes.
Even though there is a little kind of like anxiety there with us.
There is so much anxiety.
Well, just think when we have the community event, you'll be speaking again, maybe, in front of some people in the community, sharing, what this means to you and, why you're doing it. And that's really good. It's inspiring by you sharing and by you, Angelica, and the other young people that are involved. it inspires not only your peers and others to get involved, but it's inspiring to older generations, because they're like, hey, there's young people that care, and there's young people that care about what I did and what I went through, and that's really cool. So
I'd also like to mention that at the end of the year, the students are looking at hosting, we're calling it a reception.
okay.
So every year, the Veterans Heritage Project does host a book reception for everyone in the region who is published in the book.
Okay.
Obviously, they haven't been able to with the situation recently.
Yeah.
And this year's edition won't be able to be published until August.
Okay.
Usually what happens is you invite your veteran there and you have a nice dinner with them, there's a book signing, and then both the student and the veteran get an actual physical copy of the book that they get to keep.
Oh, wow.
So since the publication isn't coming until August, the students want to host a reception just to honor the veterans that they did interview this year and just to say thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So that is something that we've got in the works right now as well.
Hey, there we go. And Debbie Nelson, she is watching on our Facebook Live. And first she said, thank you so much. So she's thanking you guys for everything that you're doing.
Thank you.
And then she said, and this is in reference to you two, they are our future. So you guys are the future. And it's
That's
so
so
cool that you're doing this. And you see someone recognizing that. And then she said, proud of you all. So she's proud of you as well. So I'm going to love that. I love that comment, Debbie.
Me
Thank
too,
you.
thank you.
Yeah, and thank you for spearheading this, for getting the students that really feel led to be involved and to be a part of it, and doing all of the paperwork and getting everything set up to make this possible. So no, that is great. And you did mention it is $200 per story.
Yes.
So that means fundraising, donations, sponsorships are they're critical.
Yes.
They're necessary for this to happen.
Mhm.
So I know there's a lot of people that support our veterans and do a lot for our veterans in the community. This is another way that people can support the veterans here in Rim Country, because just looking at that math, that's quite a bit. If you want to get 1,000 people in
Yes.
there, $20,000
Yes.
for 1,000 stories, and so
We can do it, we've got this.
no, definitely. Oh yeah, no, and I say in a very encouraging way. I think the community, there's a ton of support for veterans. It's just getting people to know,
Yes.
and be aware that there's this opportunity in the community, and what the cost is, and then just getting donations and sponsorships, to cover that. So,
Yes.
wow, that's exciting. So again, if you are a veteran listening and you wanted to have your story of the time in the military, you can go to veteransheritage.org, fill out the form on there. Or if you know of a veteran and they're not real computer savvy, able to go on there, you can talk to them, fill it out for them. And then if you're interested in donating, sponsorships, volunteering, you can email Nickey, and it's at Brittany, that's BRITTNEY .page@PUSD10.org, and send her an email, or you can message us and we'll get you information as well. So Alicia Page, you know who that is?
Oh, that's my sister, yes.
Hey, great job. She said, great job, Zane and Angelica. You have been very eloquently spoken.
Thank
Oh.
you.
So we need some more words, Zane, some parting words. What are what are kind of like the goals, or what would you like to see, like with the chapter? Like as far as growing, are you trying to get more? Because I know that was one thing you mentioned when you spoke to the students, trying to get more students involved. So is that something that you're hoping to see with this chapter?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Something that I've noticed while in the marching band,
Mm-hmm.
when we do pep band for the basketball games or the football games,
Yeah.
The student body, maybe a little lackluster in some school spirit. So
Yeah.
I would like to see a lot more school spirit within our schools here.
Gotcha. Uh-huh.
And I feel like that would be more important to have our students very excited about involving themselves within the community that they reside in,
Mm-hmm.
and being able to make a bigger picture for everybody around them.
Mm-hmm. And it was one of the things I mentioned when I spoke, and I think it's very true. There are so many young people in this community that are doing so many different things and having an impact, but there's still so many more opportunities for young people to make even a bigger impact.
Absolutely.
So, there really aren't any limits, to what you guys and other young people can do and be involved with. And this is a great example. It could be a case where you get a lot of young people, you get the backing, financial backing, and you collect 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 stories just from right here in Rim Country. That'd be amazing.
It truly is.
Yeah,
It really
It'd be
yeah.
a dream come true.
Yeah. There you go. So yeah, you can be part of it. Anyone listening or watching on our Facebook page, YouTube channel. If you want to again contribute, you can email Brittany, and her email address again is Brittany BRITTNEY.page PAGE at PUSD10.org, or you can contact us and we'll give you the email. We'll get you in contact. I guess if people they wanted to get a check to you, they could bring that by the school, the main office.
Yeah, so all of our finances go through the bookstore.
Okay.
So of course, absolutely reach out to me so I can do the proper paperwork and get my treasurer on it.
Okay.
But yeah, everything goes through the bookstore. So if for whatever reason it's like the middle of class time or something, they could bring it by
Okay.
there and she'll take care of it. She can also take cards over the phone. So if they call
Okay.
the school, they could do that.
Okay.
And I also want to mention if there are any veterans that need like volunteer help,
Uh-huh.
my kids are more than happy to help with that as well. That's something that they are looking for in the community.
Okay.
With us being so little known, it's been
Yeah.
difficult to find other than like neighbors and such. So
Gotcha. Okay. And that's Jody in the bookstore.
Yes.
Too.
yes,
I know her as Mama Jody.
yes,
From,
me too.
Because, my daughters, two of my daughters are cheerleaders, so that's Mama Jody. So, but Jody in the bookstore. Do you happen to know the bookstore number or the
Not off the
school?
top of my head, but you can find it on the PUSD10 website.
Okay, and I think if you just call the main PUSD number, they can, and I got that right here, 474-2233. So again, that's 928-474-2233, and just ask for the bookstore. And Jody, she would be able to give you the information you need or take a card payment as well. So that's great. That could go towards the Payson chapter of the Veterans Heritage Project. So, guys, it's been almost 30 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really?
That was
I know.
fast.
You should, yeah, I know. It just, it's quick and easy. It's, especially when you're talking about something that you really care about. And you guys obviously do, and I thank you for everything that you're doing and everything that you're going to do, because I think as this gets out into the community, you'll really get a lot of support. So,
Thank you.
oh yes, you're so welcome. Thank you guys for coming in, and thank you everyone for watching on Facebook or YouTube. All of the comments, you guys are great, and thank you for everyone listening on the radio, and Desert Financial Credit Union for sponsoring our Community Spotlight program. Now let's get back to the music with some Florence and the Machine, Aerosmith, Dave Matthews Band, and more. But first, an update from the National Weather Service.
The forecast for Payson and surrounding areas. I'm Nowcast meteorologist
There we go.
Jim.
Yeah, hey, easy.